Good morning all. Welcome to UPSC Made Simple channel. This is The Hindu, 11th July, and we are in the initiative of the news that we can use. So first news with respect to no resolution to Sri Lankan crisis. So please go through all details of this crisis. Mostly those who are from public administration optional, and for GS paper 2 also in the mains perspective you can see some questions related to this crisis, right? Even PSIR students, they can go through the detail of this crisis, right? Then next is Shiv Sena set to split in Lok Sabha. Again, this is very important. You will definitely have at least one question in the mains, that is GS paper 2, with respect to so many things: role of the speaker, role of the deputy speaker, with respect to representation of people act, with respect to split and merger, then so many things with respect to prelims as well as mains you can see from this particular issue. So go through the basic details. You can refer monthly magazine for that to go in much detail, right? Next news is with respect to that is tribal part. Assam man burnt after kangaroo court trial. So in Assam, this person was burnt alive at Borlong village in Nagaon district. So use this in your case studies and examples. Borlong village in Nagaon district of central Assam. So where kangaroo court adjudged him guilty of murdering 22-year-old woman. So basically the case is 22-year-old woman was killed by this person, and that's why kangaroo court burnt him alive. So this is not important. What is important is we can use this example to substantiate some of the arguments with respect to how the kangaroo court run parallel justice system or parallel courts that can be addressed in GS paper 2, right? Even public administration optional, they can use this example. Then you can get ethics case study also, or you can use the same in theory part also, wherever there will be a question of justice, equality, then whatever other related aspects of ethics, values, principles and theories, right? Then with respect to first tribal, what are the issues faced by tribal can be asked in GS paper 1. There you can see like there are kangaroo courts running parallel, which makes justice right in issue, right? Then with respect to optional, you can use this in sociology optional, you can use this in public administration optional. Even in sociology you can get directly case 10 marker question like kangaroo court, right? So be careful with respect to this kind of news that you can use, right? Then next is Congress BJP's power over new forest rules. So recently there was some provisions of the forest conservation rules amended, and there is objection by former environment minister Jairam Ramesh. So he is saying like these norms ignore rights of tribal people. So I will zoom it. You can go through details of this, right? I will tell you in brief. For prelims you can directly expect question with respect to Forest Right Act 2006. What are the different provisions, what are the role of Gram Sabha and all. Then from mains perspective in anthropology also there are topic like policies and programs for the development of tribals and all. So there you can use this, how this particular policy or act can become issue itself for rights of the tribals, right? Even in GS3, Forest Right Act can be asked, critically analyze, even the rules can be asked to critically analyze. Even for sociology optional you can expect some questions, right? And you can use the same thing in even essay, where there will be issue of with respect to environment, with respect to vulnerable people and all, right? So there is again the Hindu news that new rules undermine the role of Gram Sabha. So role of Gram Sabha, even public administration optional students can go through this particular news, right? Moving on to the next, this is blessings of goddess Kali with India, Prime Minister. So this all started by one of the MPs, Mahua Moitra, that is from Trinamool Congress. She had some remarks with respect to goddess. So what she said, like version of goddess Kali, and to me is meat eating, alcohol accepting goddess. To me that version is of Kali. So she said like her version of Kali allows it to meat eating, alcohol accepting and all. So there was some issue. So you can use this particular in essay example, even in ethics you can use, or you can expect one of the essay with respect to religion or with respect to freedom of expression and all. Even in ethics you can see this kind of case study. How will you manage if there is some protest with respect to this kind of case study? Even sociology you can expect question with respect to religion, right? In GS1 also, in society you can see these kind of things like religion and all, religious tolerance, whatever respect with respect to that topic, right? So use this news wherever possible. Moving on to the next. Again, villagers stir against solar plant protects Kesari trees. So agreement reached between energy firms and Bishnoi activists to save trees in western Rajasthan. So there are proposed 8 solar power plants, and for the construction of these power plants, these trees, that is particularly Kesari trees, were failed. Failing of Kesari trees was the issue, and there was protest by this Bishnoi activists. So you can use this particular news in GS paper 3, environment versus development. Even ethics they can ask case study like environment versus development. They can directly ask in this particular village government plans to have 8 solar power plants, but there is a protest. How will you manage this? There also you can use this case study in ethics. Then again, geography optional, you can see this particular case study with respect to environmental activists. Then again trees, again power plants, energy chapter, you can go through it. Even paper GS paper 3 energy sector you can link here, right? Next just from the prelims perspective, remember Krishnaraja Sagar Dam in Karnataka, Kodugu district, it is on Kaveri river, right? And that dam is in Srirangapatnam taluk. Next, again the same thing from prelims perspective, that is Idukki reservoir, that is in Mulla Periyar dam, and it is at the confluence of Mullayar and Periyar rivers. Remember these 2 rivers with respect to this dam, right? Next, again we have discussed it earlier also. The uprising formal process should bring in change in Sri Lanka, not public rising. So from mains perspective you can use this example. And there was one thing mentioned here, like despite arrival of some overseas aid and commencement of a process for an IMF bailout. So recently there was question on IMF in 2022 prelims. So this kind of information can be helpful to solve some of the prelims questions also, right? Again, death unforetold. So we have not covered this particular news. Assassination of Abe could have far-reaching consequences for Japanese psyche. So there was assassination of the former Prime Minister of Japan. So you can use this in essay particularly. Ethics, there can be case study with respect to that, right? Then psychology optional, you can use this particular example, or you can get directly question from this context. So remember this context and use it wherever possible. Moving on to the next. Ongoing dialogue between Pakistan and TPP. So this TPP is Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. So it is mostly important for PSIR only. So those who are from PSIR optional, you can go through this particular news. Moving on to the next. Again, Deputy Speaker justifies action on Shinde camp. I have already told it is both important from prelims as well as mains perspective. GS paper 2 public administration optional, right? Then recently Prime Minister appraised the experiments of natural farming in Surat district of Gujarat. From prelims perspective, go through the concept of natural farming, what are its basic features and what is its peculiarity. Then from mains perspective, for geography optional, you can expect question from natural farming, critically analyze the role of natural farming in achieving sustainable development goals, or whatever that kind of question you can expect. Same question can be expected in GS3 in agriculture, right? So just go through the basics of natural farming. Then next news is with respect to sown area of paddy rises marginally. So this is mostly from prelims perspective, can expect trend related questions they have already asked, like whether sugarcane area is increased or decreased. So please go through this particular thing. I will not read it. And for mains also, from GS3 you can use this data particularly. Even for geography optional you can use this data, like changing cropping pattern, what are the recent trends with respect to that, what are the reasons for change in this trend. So you can read it, right? You can pause and read, right? So thank you very much, and we will continue with this particular initiative. You can join our Telegram channel and Telegram group. I will share the description in link below.